Tonight, in our first of two in-depth stories, it wasn't expected out for another month, but today the U.S. Supreme Court officially ended the desire of some Oklahoma lawmakers to establish the nation's first religious charter school in the state using Oklahoma taxpayer funds. The decision was a 4-4 split and only applies to Oklahoma, not the rest of the country. A single-page document released by the U.S. Supreme Court didn't say much, but at the same time said plenty when it came to the future of St. Isidore of Seville online Catholic charter school. The document doesn't say who voted and how, but the tone during the arguments last month were clear.
You can't treat religious people and religious institutions and religious speech as second class in the United States.
Justices Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Alito, and Thomas were ready to rule for the school. Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson were ready to reject it. Legal analysts are pointing to this comment by Chief Justice John Roberts as not only an indication he was the swing vote that tied the case and doomed the school, but it was clear he felt the school wasn't like a religious hospital fixing a wound or a religious company or church being barred from funds for things like road repairs and other public projects.
This does strike me as a much more comprehensive involvement. And I wonder what case do you think supports the position with respect to that level of involvement?
The 4-4 tie doesn't mean a new national precedent has been set. Instead, it just means the decision of the Oklahoma State Supreme Court stands, and only in Oklahoma. Justice Amy Coney Barrett recused herself because she taught at the law school, helping make legal arguments for the formation of St. Isidore. Governor Kevin Stitt said in a statement, quote, "This 4-4 tie is a non-decision. Now we're in overtime. There will be another case just like this one, and Justice Barrett will break the tie. This is far from a settled issue. We are going to keep fighting for parents' rights to instill their values in their children and against religious discrimination." Attorney General Gentner Drummond, who argued the school violated the separation of church and state and the state constitution, said in a statement, quote, "I have always maintained that we must faithfully uphold the Constitution, even when it requires us to make difficult decisions. I will continue upholding the law, protecting our Christian values, and defending religious liberty, regardless of how difficult the battle may be." The statewide charter school board, who approved the St. Isidore contract, hoping for a Supreme Court case, says they will obey the ruling and cancel St. Isidore's contract. The Diocese of Oklahoma City and Tulsa, who would have run St. Isidore together, did not give interviews, but said in a statement they were disappointed and looking for other ways to provide a Catholic education to as many families in Oklahoma as they can to those who want it. We should note, Oklahoma's voucher program is still in place, and that is how families have been and are expected to help pay for a religious education for their children if they want it. Attorney General Gentner Drummond argued that vouchers eliminated the need for a school like St. Isidore. The Catholic Church has two very successful schools in Oklahoma right now, Bishop McGinnis in Oklahoma City and Bishop Kelly here in Tulsa. Something to keep in mind is that a search is already underway to see which state can now pick this fight up. There are postings all over social media by supporters of religious charter schools today saying the search for the next state is on. Another state is going to have to go through what we went through to try to get that case that Justice Barrett could be a part of in the future. However, Justice Barrett is not beholden to them. If you've been following the Supreme Court lately, Justice Barrett has been on an independent streak lately that has stunned and even at times upset conservatives. So her positive vote is not a sure thing.